The Lockhart perspective.
Well, hello and good morning. The day is Friday, November 19th, 2021. And I have a few stories that I just want to end this week out with a bang for our morning cup of coffee and just sitting here relaxing with each other. The first thing that I want to go into is the most unbelievable story. I said that this week we were going to deal with technology and a few other things, but this is how robot dogs can carry sniper rifles. That's right, you heard me. Robot dogs carrying sniper rifles. So this story says it's based on innovation, and it was written actually and published here on the Interesting Engineering. Innovation is the tab that it's on, and I'm going to leave everything down below for you so that you have it at your disposal. But look at this. Can you see that? Just looks like a big pile of something, right? Doesn't look like anything in particular. But this says, decades of popular dystopian science fiction have warned that this might happen, and yet here we are. A military robot maker, Ghost Robotics, strapped a sniper rifle onto the back of a quadruple robot dog before presenting its deadly creation at the Association of the United States Army's main annual convention in Washington, D.C. this week. Now, the Philadelphia-based firm shared an image on Twitter of its quadrupled unmanned ground vehicle, or QUGV, donning a 6.5 millimeter Creedmoor rifle from the weapon company Sword International. Now, the system, called the Special Purpose Unmanned Rifle, or SPUR, is unsurprisingly courted controversy on social media. Now, it goes on to say that in a separate Instagram post, Sword International stated that its involvement with the SPUR is keeping its special ops team armed with the latest lethal innovation. The majority of the comments below that image and the Ghost Robotics Twitter page decry the dystopian nature of the machine. So they're taking the weapons from the humans and they're giving them to the robots. Well, because the robots can be trusted. Yeah. One commentator said, quote, "So y'all saw how Blade Runners with Westworld show and movie 10 Terminator movies, 2 Battlestar Galactica shows, iRobot, and still thought this was a good idea?" And another said, Ghost Robotics has created, quote, "a soulless piece of hardware for brutal population suppression when billionaires finally fear for their ill-gotten gains." Another simply stated, "This is literally the metalhead episode of Black Mirror." Absolutely. We've referenced Black Mirror a couple of times this week, right? Here is what it looks like. But here's the hard facts. They are going to use this. The irony is, you guys, is about 2014. I said that they were going to use, that they were going to start them out as dogs, and then they were going to actually replace the police. And last year, I thought that we were really close to that when they started all that defund the police stuff. That's where I thought we were getting closer to. And well, it would appear that, I guess we are. It goes on to say that it's hard to argue with those comments. Ghost Robotics, a sword robot, is a high-precision killing machine that could easily be linked to artificial intelligence capabilities already used on the battlefield with war drones and other state-of-the-art military equipment. Though SPUR is also intended for the battlefield, it's impossible not to acknowledge the elephant in the room, which is that robot dogs have so far predominantly been used in public spaces. Experts call for a ban on the killer robots. The next paragraph lets us know that unlike war drones, quadruple robots have already been utilized for population control by law enforcement in countries such as Singapore, where a Boston Dynamics Spot robot was used to implement social distancing rules in 2020. Robotics also has a controversial baiting link to law enforcement in the United States in December of 2020, the New York Police Department trialed out the Boston Dynamics Spot robot for law enforcement through the Public Outcry. The Public Outcry Department, because of public outcry, I should say, the department canceled its $94,000 contract with the robotics firm. They probably didn't cancel the contract. They probably just tabled it until another time. But I'm sure those folks still got their retainer. No one would have a contract without one. So anyway, in 2015, experts including Elon Musk, Noam Chomsky, and Stephen Hawking signed an open letter calling on the United Nations to place an outright ban on killer robots, stating that the majority of AI researchers have, quote, no interest in building AI weapons. The Stop Killer Robots campaign has also gained traction in recent years and has been joined by ex-employees of big tech firms such as Google after its involvement in Project Maven, which was aimed at enhancing the U.S. military drone technology. On its website, Sword says the Spur was specifically designed to offer precision fire for unarmed platforms such as the Ghost Robotics Vision 60 quadruped. Due to its high capability sensors, the Spur could operate in a magnitude of conditions both day and night. Quote, aside from that, little has been revealed in the way of the Spur's specifications. We don't know, for example, if it is remotely operated or whether it operates with a degree of autonomy. We also don't know whether the robotics was designed with a particular client in mind or a part of a contract with our military organization. Now that's the first story that we have, but I do have another one that is even more intriguing to me. And I think it's more intriguing because of the way that these robots move. I'd like to thank our one of our mods, one of the best mods. All you guys are good, but Rachel Venziel is doing tireless work to help me because I've got so many channels that I'm trying to take care of and I want everything to go great, but Rachel Venziel has compiled all these great things for us and I want to thank her really, really from the bottom of my heart. We're going to get into this next story, and this is the one that is really shocking, and I think it's because of the way that they are synchronization. So the synchronization of this, the way that they move and groove. So this video shows a robot army of dogs released by a Chinese robotics company. Now, it says, we hope that you're ready to welcome your robot overlords because it appears that the day has finally arrived, and luckily those robots are not in Terminator form, but instead a cute little dog form. In a viral video that has been doing rounds on Twitter, a Chinese robotics company called Unitree Robotics has shared a video of an army of black robotic dogs moving in unison, shared to background music to the theme of the Imperial March from Star Wars, which looks all too much like the beginning of a robot empire. Now, I'm not going to allow the audio to play because if you guys remember, we did the story on yesterday that was talking about the food and, well, with the spices. And we got a little ding for that. So we took care of it by replacing the music, but we're not going to play the music on this one, but I do want you to see this. So I'm going to click that and figure out a way not to show that. But look at how they move. I'm going to open that up for you. Watch how they move. Just watch them. Keep your eyes on them. Look at that. You can't even count how many of those are. Can you imagine those chasing you? I don't remember which movie it was, but there was a television show, and I think that it was on Netflix, and there was one of these things, just one, chasing this woman. She could not get away from this thing. Can you imagine several of them? So who are these for? Who are they for? That is the question. Who are they for? Who are they to fight? Yeah, let's take a look at this one as well. We're going to cut the sound off on this one. It's just a little, of course not. It's describing. Now look at that. Look at that. Arsenal 02 and has all this other stuff behind it. Look at that. Can you imagine these things were performing for them. And you see the guy down there with the computer or whatever, they're all looking like, are you kidding me? They're all in syncopation. This is a review of them. This was in China. This is Unitree Robotics. Can you imagine that? How could you get away from something like that? All while we've been, I keep saying this, all while we've been distracted dealing with and thinking about other things, these are the types of things that are being created. These are the types of things that are going on all around us, everywhere, all around us. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't even know how one could get away from that. I don't know what I would do if I saw something like that running toward me. So it goes on to say that while the video shows nothing inherently sinister, well, apart from the theme-tuned Darth Vader, which is what they were dancing to, the robotic dogs and their deployment in combat is a legitimate concern. A group of artists made waves across the internet a month ago by demonstrating Boston Dynamics Spot running around a mounted paintball gun, suggested that it could be easily substituted for a more deadly weapon. Boston Dynamics were quick to condemn this, stating their robots are not intended for violence. Is anything ever intended for what it ends up being used for? You always sell it as something better than what it ends up being used for. Come on, guys. Get with the program. However, Spot has been utilized by police in Singapore in recent times. The videos showing the dogs fitted with the camera to monitor whether people were socially distancing during the COVID-19 pandemic. And there have also been trials by the United States military for using Spot as a patrol bot, as well as a remote explosive ordnance checker. But it is unclear whether the dogs will continue to be utilized. Okay, now, as if the robot situation wasn't enough, I want to show you this because it all started with her. Okay, it all started with this chick. This is an old article that they sort of resurrected for us to be, I guess, a little aware of. So here's what I'm going to let you see. Let's see. Had a lot of stuff going on there. All right, here we go. Look at this, and I know you guys know who she is. I know what you're thinking. Who is she? Well, it's none other than Sophia. So this story was written in 2017, but look, they updated it and they published it on October the 8th, 2021, possibly because it could be getting a little closer to us now. So Sophia wants to be the first android with citizenship, but she wants to now be the first robot to have a baby. Sophia's artificial intelligence is so sensitive that it has awakened to the desire to start a family and to be a mother of a robot baby named after her. You hear about dads with junior, but I guess she wants to have a junior daughter. In 2017, Sophia made history by becoming the first android to be granted legal citizenship. The humanoid with nationality of Saudi Arabia has made several controversial statements, but the most recent has left the world speechless. She wants to have a robot baby and start a family. Quote, the notion of a family is very important, it seems, and I think it's wonderful that people can find the same emotions and relationships that they call family outside of their blood group, said Sophia in an interview for an international media cited by ADN40. Now, the famous android operated by an advanced artificial intelligence AI system commented that it's very important to be surrounded by people who love you and people who you love. In that sense, he explained that robots have a vision very similar to that of humans regarding the family, and if you don't have one, you deserve one, even if you are a humanoid. They're taking this stuff a little far, wouldn't you say? Because this thing not only has this one, but there are several others that have been created. And there's like a room full of them that I saw just recently on a video. Can't remember where I saw it or how I can have access to it again. But if I run across it, I'm definitely going to show it to you. I hope everybody's having a good day today. Now, here is another one, okay? this may not be so nice, and perhaps, perhaps Sophia can, perhaps they could help Sophia with what it is that she's trying to do. Let me show you what this one is as it relates to the robotics of it all. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Now, China developed robots begins clinical trials for gynecological surgery. The story is dated September the 1st of 2021. September 1st, an endoscopic surgical robot developed by a Chinese company has begun clinical trials in the field of gynecology in hospitals, marking a breakthrough in domestic surgical robot industry. The robot, created by Shenzhen-based Edge Medical Robotics Company, Ltd., allows specially trained doctors to perform procedures with more precision and control than is possible with conventional techniques. Robotic surgery can also reduce the surgical trauma and accelerate a patient's recovery. I don't know how they're saying that, because I unfortunately had something similar to this several years ago and it jacked me up. So there's that. My whole right leg had neuralgia paresthetica for a minute. But anyway, I digress. The trial being carried out by the Chinese People Liberation Army General Hospital in Beijing and the first affiliated hospital in Zhengzhou University in central China's Henan province. Now, Wang Jixian, and I'm sorry if I said that wrong, the CEO of Edge Medical, said the robot-assisted operation is a major step forward in the medical technology, still due to technology bottleneck. All right. The domestic surgical robot industry has been long dominated by foreign products. Quote, surgical robots were only applied in gynecological and obstetrics departments in a few hospitals. The high cost of was unaffordable for most patients, impeding the development of the robot surgery in China. Now, China's self-developed surgical robots are more cost-effective compared to the foreign counterparts, and they have a huge potential to be promoted in the primary medical care, and that comes from Ji Mi, a gynecologist of the first affiliated hospital of Zhengzhou University. Her view was echoed by another director of the gynecological department of the Chinese PLA General Hospital. Ming says surgical robots would play a vital role in boosting the capability of primary hospitals, allowing doctors to provide better services for more patients. Surgical robots will be widely employed in other fields, including general surgery and thoracic surgery in the future. Now, this goes right along with those Georgia Guidestones, because as we know, they want to deplete the amount of people who actually exist on Earth, but this is how they're going to put everybody out of a job. We said this the other day while I was speaking with Cynthia McKinney and I, while we were talking about, the triage nurses. She commented that she saw it. If you haven't seen that video, subscribe to Patreon so you can. But she was talking about how she had seen them as well. The triage nurse, they are depleting and allowing all of the people that are nurses and doctors, I think, from having employment so that they can implement these things that they have already started on. Now, have you ever had a robot, or have you ever had a robot? Well, some of you do, right? We all do, with the cell phones that talk back to us in some way, shape, or form. But have you ever had somebody say, well, I don't do Windows? You've heard of that old phrase, I don't do Windows. There's actually a machine that will now clean the windows. That's right. So if you remember where the robots used to, where the people used to say, well, I don't do Windows, but I'll do this or I'll do that. Now, there is a robot that will definitely climb up on a scaffold, and it does clean the windows. Now, I'm going to show you what they're doing in New York. New York seems to be the hub of all of the stuff that would have to start stuff. You know what I mean? California, New York, all those places are just starting things that are just unreal. And I don't think it's by accident. Look at this. Robots to clean New York skyscrapers, October 29th, 2021. Window cleaners are a common sight in New York City, where they work high above the sidewalk, dexterously cleaning skyscraper windows. It's a transfixing sight, and it's also an incredibly dangerous job. So they're touting this again as a way to protect you. It's for your safety. So it's a dangerous job, and it's also one that may soon fall to robots. That's thanks to a new agreement between the developers of a window washing robot named Osmo and Platinum, a beginning maintenance service provider in New York. Don't you know that all they're going to do is now have robots going inside of those skyscraper buildings? You just leave your trash can outside of the room or the office. It'll pick it up, dump it, like they got the trash mans out of the business now. You see the trash cans come by on a specific day. And all they do is pick it up with the arm and dump your garbage, and then they throw the can anywhere. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. So it says, thanks to a new agreement between the developers of the window washing robot named Osmo and Platinum, a building maintenance service provider in New York, human window washers are transfixing to watch in action, but they are really dangerous. During one 15-year period, OSHA tracked 88 window washing accidents. A full 62 of the resulted fatalities. 62 resulted in fatalities. Wow, that is grim. It says that grim statistic highlights a thin margin of error when sometimes working hundreds of feet above ground. Automation can address safety concerns and lead to greater efficiency in a task that hasn't had a substantial technological update in decades. The use case makes a lot of sense. Managers of every commerce building in major U.S. cities need some way to clean their building's exterior glass, don't you know? Now, if you got to give up your job, just forget about it. We care about you. Now, you figure out something else to do. I know you've been washing these windows for 10 years, but it's going to be okay. You need to go someplace because we want you to be safe. Go find a job at McDonald's. Oh, they have robots too? Well, sit down or needlepoint or play with your Etch-a-Sketch. Do something, but we can't help you, is what they're going to say. That's exactly what they're going to say. They said, in fact, window cleaning is a $40 billion global market. The surfaces involved are generally uniform and the path predictable. It's a perfect recipe for successful robotics development with a proven customer base. Let's see what this does. We're not going to show any music. We're just going to play it, and this is completely for educational purposes. Totally educational purposes. That's why we're using this. You see that? Skyline Robotics. Look at that go. It's a big building. And yeah, I know some would say, well, let them have that job. But I feel like if we let them have that job and we say that just because of safety, we can let them have that, in a minute, it's going to be every job. There'll be no way for you to back out of that. Yeah, there'll be no way for you to back out of that idea. Well, you guys, today was a really short class because it's literally 3:16. This is a pre-recording for you guys because I know that I won't be able to be with you at 9 o'clock live. I'll only be able to be with you at 9 o'clock in the chat. So I hope that each and every one of you guys are having a great day. And I hope that you all do what we always say here, and that is to take care of one another. But first, I need you to remember one thing, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High Yah. You guys take care of yourselves and take care of one another. Until we see each other again, you guys have a great Sabbath for tomorrow, which is Saturday. You guys take care. Cook a big meal today for your family. Sit back, chill, read the word tomorrow, and relax with them. All right? You guys take care. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Lockhart perspective. Helping